Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we'll be talking about Josh Giddey. I was gonna say I'm giddy for Giddey, but I realized that that might actually be a little bit compromising. I don't know if good or I only bad, but either way, before we put ourselves in some hijinks, I want to hear your thoughts down below. The report we're talking today is from Brian Windhorst. Josh Giddey is likely to sign for a starting point guard market rate. And I said this before he even played for the Bulls. I said either they were going to get him on a deal of that magnitude or another team was going to do it in the offseason. And if they're smart, they'd sign and trade him if they don't plan to keep him. Because I know some people are not a fan of his because he isn't the biggest defender. I think he's gotten better as a defender. He's gotten good at getting to the rim and drawing fouls. He's a willing rebounder. He can play three positions. And that was a big thing with Oklahoma, where with Oklahoma City Thunder, he was more of a power forward for them at times. And obviously we know he's the slob wizard, but let's just discuss it. Josh Giddey has solidified himself this season, especially after the All-Star break, as a key player for the Chicago Bulls if they want to keep him. After a slow start to the season, since the All-Star break, he's elevated his performance, represented by Daniel Moldovan. The 22-year-old is the orchestrator of the Chicago Bulls offense, and he is easily going to be going for the starting rate of a point guard, which is $25 to $35 million a year, something between that $10 million gap. And we'll evaluate what the Bulls' future looks like, what a Josh Giddey contract negotiation could entail, as that'll be a major talking point in the offseason. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section, and let's get right into it. Giddey's improvement, if we just want to look at the 9 games since the All-Star break, has a PER, player efficiency rating, of 25.3, which is a 9.9, basically a 10-point jump from his 15.2 PER from the first 51 games in the season. Now, he went from, in the first 51 games, or really this year, he's averaging 30 minutes, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists on 46% from the field, 37% from three, 79% from free throw line, 56.6 true shooting. Since the All-Star break, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 8.5 assists, 52% from the field, and 52% from three, 86% from the free throw line, 65.5% from true shooting percentage. And that just shows him being not only the premier playmaker and offensive facilitator, he has been substantially better from beyond the arc and just playing really well. And ESPN Brian Windhorst was the one that suggested the market rate for starting point guard would be what Josh Giddey gets, and that's about $30 million. And he referenced Immanuel Quickley's 5-year, $162 million contract, which is comparable to the $32 million annual, $30 million annual that Josh Giddey would get. And I think Josh Giddey is showing that he is a scorer that could be on the same level as Immanuel Quickley. Obviously, Darius Garland got like 36.8 a year. He's not as good as Darius Garland, so I don't think he's going to get like a 5-year 197. I think the baseline is the 4-year 104 that Jalen Brunson signed. Obviously, his market value has risen since that original deal signing. He's going to probably get a max contract, but historically, teams have paid a premium for young, improving lead guards who show promise as a primary facilitator. And given these figures, I think Giddey's contract will depend on how much the Bulls or another team value his long-term role as a lead guard. Obviously, if he ends the season averaging 20 and 10 and 8 assists, he's going to be a guy who's gonna get the money. Obviously, they'd have to figure out the complications that would arise in their salary cap. However, they've shown a willingness to invest in guys that they want. I don't know if Patrick Williams would be the best example, but he's there. And Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine in the past. Now, they did trade Alex Caruso, who's a really good player. So I think that suggests he's viewed as a long-term piece, especially with Arturas Karnisovas, the executive there running the show. would probably want the Bulls to commit Giddey to a deal that offers him similar to Quickly's money, maybe slightly at a reduced annual of $25 to $28 million. If they do play hardball, because I believe they can sign him like when the season ends, there's like a window. I believe they can technically agree, and then when like free agency hits, before June 30th, I think they can sign him to a deal after the season ends. Someone correct me on that. Worst comes to worst, he goes into restricted free agency. Other teams can extend an offer sheet, and that could push his contract closer to over $30 million if a bidding war ensues. And if there are no long-term deals being offered, Giddey could just accept a qualifying offer of, I think it's $13 million a year, and then be an unrestricted free agent the following season. They bring back Lonzo Ball, so I think extending Giddey would obviously limit their ability to add other free agents unless they do plan to do a monster roster turnover and create cap space. Let's just talk about this. In wins, he's averaging 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists, 52% from the field. In losses, he's 41% from the field, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, and 12 points. So when Giddey plays well, the Bulls win. I think he shows his value in the team's success. He's a high basketball IQ guy, has the ability to facilitate plays, makes him a individual who raises the floor of his teammates. So it's somebody you want to build a young core around. It's just hard to find playmakers like him or others. Now, Windehor said this, quote, "I will bet on Josh Giddey, and I will bet on him getting a very good contract, whether he gets it this year or he has to wait another year and become an unrestricted free agent," end quote. And I agree, given his improvement, positional value, and the Bulls' investment in his development, I think Giddey is going to secure something $25 to $30 million, probably 100 to 120 million, which would align with the market rate of starting point guards. And whether that's Chicago or somebody else, he's going to be a well-compensated guy and has the ability to become one of the top point guards in the NBA if he chooses to do that. So that's the biggest thing where I think a lot of people, the biggest thing with Josh Giddey is just buying into what he's capable of doing, which I think he's shown the ability of, hey, I can rise to the occasion. I am this type of player. One of the things that has held him back, obviously, was what the whole thing that happened in the offseason. So they're in the court of public opinion, he's somebody that isn't beloved, but I don't think he cares about that, and I don't think a lot of people on the NBA side care a lot about that because it's not affecting basketball right now. And as a result, whether you like it or not, and I'm not agreeing with it, there's bigger fish to fry in their minds. So that's where they're at. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that. If you guys agree with me, if not, leave your opinions in the comment section. Like and subscribe. It would help this channel out a ton. And if you want to read any of my written work, go to hooptype.com. Take care. Cheers.